Live from the Music City, we're welcome to race. What a great start on my end. We are ready to welcome race fans, one and all, back to Green Flag TV. It's the SRA IEL Truck Series on Saturday nights. My name is R11, and joining me for the first time is George Kirafides, jumping out of the driver's seat of the number 4 truck up into the broadcast booth this afternoon for what could be a more permanent seating here on Saturday nights. George, welcome to Green Flag TV on this side of the fence.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. You know, this is a big commentating opportunity for me, and I love to take these opportunities. Great race should be tonight.
It should be a great one indeed. 150 laps around the 1.3 mile speedway. The lights have just flicked on over this racetrack just south of Lebanon, Tennessee. And the big story right now is the ever-growing championship battle. For the first time in the season, Paul Witt is not entering one of these races as a points leader. Justin Adesogak takes away the lead from him after a thriller last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway that saw Paul Witt encounter problems with his first finish outside of the top 10 all season long. Finished all the way down in 16th. And now Adesogak stands atop the boards, and he is trying to see if he cannot run away with that championship. But with Witt on pole and Adesogak deep in the field, looking like it might be a bit of a struggle if that 13 truck wants to get himself up there and rolling once again to battle away with this championship. And remember, only 3 races to go after tonight.
You see right there's a 10-point buffer between them, which means that every race here is going to be crucial. I mean, even Zane Bailey may have a chance to catch up, but everybody under that 3rd spot, they're going to need a lot of work, or they have their work cut out ahead of them.
A lot of work cut out for them indeed. Zane Bailey still within shouting distance of the points as well, about 30 points back for the driver, the number 20, so he is sitting down in 3rd place. Right now, very much a 3-horse race for the championship. Zane Bailey just barely clinging on. But if Bailey wants to get a chance, I mean, he's got a lot of work ahead of him over these next 4 weeks, doesn't he, George? I mean, there's a lot of distance he's got to gain in such a short span of time if he wants to make that good run for the points. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but every race that goes by, his shot becomes longer and longer.
And I mean, the reason you look at it is he's at 384 points, the leader's at 413. You gotta hope that the 2 guys in front of him you gotta hope that the 2 guys in front of you finish behind you, and you gotta go out and win, finish above, and hope that those guys don't finish well for your chance to take this championship home.
So all of that takes us to this beautiful 1.3 mile facility. Of course, we know it, we love it. It's the Nashville Superspeedway, making its return to NASCAR racing a couple years ago. 1.3 miles, it is a concrete behemoth. And George, you and I were talking a lot in the pre-race about what that was going to do to the tire life around this place. This place shreds tires for breakfast. It is Dover, but less banking, completely different shape, 0.3 miles longer, and all of that is such a huge challenge to surmount, especially since we're racing into the evening here this afternoon. So that track, 71 degrees. It is a frigid track right now, and that means grip is going to be a hard thing to come by.
And you really look at it, it's a different surface. You're not racing on asphalt, you're racing on concrete, which just has a total different grip pattern for these trucks, which means that we will see a lot of tire saving. That's for sure, from the guys who want to run up front. And if people want to win this race, tire strategy, fuel strategy, and pit strategy are going to come in big.
Pit strategy is always going to be the big one, especially with that mandatory fuel-only stop that is always enforced in most, if not all, SRA races, and looking like that is going to be absolutely no different this afternoon. Well, we got 31 trucks that are gridded on up, and they are ready to rumble here this afternoon for the Nashville Superspeedway. So let's take a rundown of what those drivers look like as we get set to go racing once again into the dusk in the Music City just outside of Lebanon, Tennessee. Paul Witt, the points runner-up and who has been dominant in the championship up until last week, starts on pole position alongside Jared Duda. Jordan Jung starts back at the number 3 spot, 300ths off the mark, ahead of Noah Swafford, with Michael Gudger back in 5th, and Aaron Raymond starting down in 6th. Charlie Birch is in 7th. Justin Anasogak, if he wants to maintain that 10-point gap, he's going to need to do better than 8th this afternoon. He starts on the outside of row number 4. Jim Duda and Zane Bailey, 3rd place runner of the points, start on row number 5. Thomas Lane Jr., one of his best qualifying efforts of the season, starts in 11th alongside Joshua Highbaugh in 12th. Dale Rapp is back in 13th alongside Anthony Lane in 14th. From there, it is Aaron May in 15th, Ryan Way in 16th. George Rincon starts 17th, LeBron Van Leer in 18th. John Holiday and Jeff Gilmore close out the top 20. And from there, making our way down through the field, it's Cody Witt, John Buolta Jr., Jim Colmansberger, Mike Allen, Anthony Williams, Joshua Jernigan, Robert Amaral, Ryan McRoberts, Mike Campbell Jr., Kevin Roy, and Nicholas Braz close out the field this afternoon. So 31 trucks, George, and we are 60 seconds away from rolling out for our one and only pace lap. It's going to be a good one.
It will, and I mean, there are a lot of guys to watch in this field. I mean, obviously, the 3 points leaders, got to watch them, especially Paul Witt and Anna Sogak, because they're on that. They're 10 points apart. Every position really matters. But I'm also looking at guys like Jordan Jung, who are starting up here in 3rd, who just came out of the blue, could have a chance to take a win, or somebody like LeBron Van Loo, who's been running very well in the races lately and has a chance to steal one.
The steal is something that has been prevalent on Green Flag TV broadcasts as of late. It always seems to be the guy that we don't expect that tends to take away these critical race wins right at the buzzer. And we look to what's coming on up next, right? I mean, we're entering the final month of racing this season. So 4 races to go if you include tonight. The next 3 races are no easy feat. Darlington Raceway is the next race up, the last race in March. Our season finale with the Avondale 150 Truck Finals is down at the Phoenix Raceway. But then the big wild card, right? Talladega Superspeedway for the Dega Boys 285 laps around that 2.6-mile racetrack. That is, I think, one of the best penultimate rounds you could have if you want maximum carnage, setting us up for a championship. And depending on how that race goes for either Witt, Anasogak, or Witt, that could be the deciding race.
Yeah, I feel like Talladega, just as a general track, is a win. Anybody could take a win there, and you know, you gotta take your wins now at this point, so you don't get stuck at Talladega needing something to happen, because Rex will take you out, and that's it for you.
It's always a matter of not will the big one happen, it is always a matter of when, especially when it comes to running on iRacing. Well, taking a quick rundown of the upcoming races here on Green Flag TV, because that's a lot to go over before we get to Talladega in 2 weeks' time. Of course, on Sunday, tomorrow night, the SRA Xfinity Series takes to the Irwindale Speedway at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. They will kick it to 250 laps around the Californian circuit for round number 6. Then, on Tuesday afternoon, OMSRO Cup Series returns to The Rock as they'll swing out to Rockingham Speedway at 8:45, and then the Speed Cup Series, getting set to enter their mid-season tournament, will roll out to the Milwaukee Mile. The flat 1-mile oval will host round 7 at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday afternoon. So the field now rolling out, and George, anybody you want to keep an eye out for over the course of this race here?
Well, you know, 2 guys who are fighting for first place here. And just, you know, Jordan Jung and LeBron Van Leer, I feel like have, you know, great. I mean, Jordan Jung starting up here in 3rd place already has great track position to start this race. And if he can get everything well with his teammates, he has a chance to take this one home.
We have delayed the start to this race. Some drivers lacking a little bit on getting off of the line, or getting off of pit road, so we are going to hold this for one more lap and allow them to catch up. Probably a good call, considering half the field is still on the backstretch or working their way through 3 and 4 while the pace car is now entering the tri-oval. This tri-oval configuration is interesting, right? Most 1.5 mile tracks, you want to use some of that apron, like at tracks like Vegas or Kansas, to try and get some more runs going. It doesn't really work here in Nashville, though, because of how sharp that transition is.
Yeah, it's a very tight very tight apron, and I don't really think you want to use it. It could get you loose, you know. It's a very big risk, and also probably not going to get a reward out of it.
We have seen it used sometimes near the end of the race. It's good for trying to get a run to the line. If you can get a good drive off of there coming off of turn 4, coming to the wire, you can make a move there. But again, very difficult to get the job done. You need to have a lot of confidence to go that far down to the racetrack. But we're about to work our way into turn number 3, George. First few laps, do you reckon we get out of them cleanly?
I hope so.
Well, Paul Witt going to work his way down towards the third and fourth turns of the Nashville Superspeedway, and we are ready to rumble for round number 7 of the SRA IEL Truck Series here on Saturday night. Race number 11, the Music 150, ready to get on their way into the Geico Restart Zone. It's go, go, go from the Music City.
Great jump by both drivers, but the bottom line seems to get more. Oh, Raymond's taking it 3 wide already.
Raymond did not wait long to get the was out sideways, back straightaway, and around goes Jordan Jung. Multiple trucks down into the infield grass, and we got a big mess on the back straightaway. Gudger's involved. Raymond is involved. Aaron Raymond, the driver that just took it 3, is stopped up against the inside wall, and he is out of this race before it even gets off the ground.
That was a huge hit. I don't even know what happened. I looked away for 1 second, and they were wrecking, and I just saw Aaron Raymond take a huge hit into that inside wall.
Let's take a look back. What in the world happened here? I think this is like 3 or 4 different incidents. Jung got loose from the bottom. He got run over by Gudger. Aaron Raymond got a bit of a hip check from one of the doodads, not sure which one it was, and that is what sent them all scrambled to the inside. Zane Bailey and Paul Witt, or that might be Cody Witt, ended up going down to the grass as well. Like you say, a massive lick to the left front of the Bluey number 6 Ford F-150, so he is going to bring it to a sharp stop, and that is an interesting way to kick off this race. Let's ride on board with Jim Duda. Oh, no, I am mistaken. No contact there from Duda. He scrambled to avoid Jung and got loose that way. This will be at speed. Well, not the way we were hoping to have this race start off, that's for sure.
Yeah, you could see Gudger too. He got into Jordan Jung, and then, the 6 comes right down after getting loose and smashes right into him.
Tough break. Gudger, I think, should be able to more or less get away with that. Jordan Jung, believed to be responsible for the latest for this first incident of the night. And yeah, he did get a little bit loose, and nothing Gudger could have done to avoid that. Well, a wild way to start off racing action this afternoon. Again, about 2 or 3 different incidents that were starting to develop, and they ended up kind of just culminating into one big one. And the lights have gone out. We're going to redouble them up and try it again. Now, how much of that is down to cold tires? How much of that is down to concrete? And how much do you reckon that was full track?
That could be from anything. I mean, all those combine into one thing, especially since this is one of the first concrete tracks we've raced on all season. So some of these guys are not really expecting it, especially since the practice time was at daytime. At night, when the track cools down, your tires are cool. You gotta slow down a little bit and make sure your truck isn't spinning coming out of these corners.
So we're back to 3 and 4. Paul Witt will still be in control as he makes his way towards 3 and 4 this time around. iRacing pace car set to make the sharp left-hand turn down to the pit road. And for the second time tonight, the green flag gonna fly, and we're back to it. Both Dudas linked up on the high side on the approach to turn number 1. And Jared Duda able to just tuck in line between Witt and Noah Swafford.
Our number one thing was looking through and seeing how many people actually now take the slight non-risk of not getting their truck a little bit loose by pushing it coming through the turn after what they just saw on lap 1.
Well, it didn't take long for the risk factor to kick on up. We talked about how risky it is to go down onto that apron. Jared Duda says, screw the risk. I'm going down there. Immediately chopped to the inside of Paul Witt coming off of turn 4. Made the lunge. Jared Duda tracks into the race lead as a result. Paul Witt tried to get back to him in 1. It didn't happen, though. Duda was able to park it on the apron, so Jared Duda to the point. First lead change of the night. And Swafford tucked up to the door of Jim Duda, and a couple of trucks get up into the outside fence.
Well, right there you saw that the apron worked out pretty well because he got the run coming right off the corner, and that's always great, especially if you want to make a pass on the leader and you can't get around him. You just use the trusty old apron and use that downgrade to get a speed boost.
It's always a viable tactic, and it's one that we see work out on quite a few mile and a half. You're going to scrub that speed off, but if you can maintain the run all the way down the straight, no harm in taking it. Noah Swafford, meanwhile, to the inside of Justin Anasogak. Anasogak making tracks early on. Your points leader right now up high off of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway. He runs in 4th. He is up 4 so far in the night in the first 8 laps.
And as the old saying goes, qualifying isn't the race. So when you get into that point where you're in the race, you know, qualifying position doesn't matter. You can go from last to first or first to last.
And we see Anasogak trying to make one down the inside of Jim Duda. Slides across the nose. He's able to get up onto the podium position. So a good run from the number 13 Tundra as he now makes tracks down. Oh boy, hold on. I don't think Jim Duda was too happy about that as Jim Duda sent that one to the inside of turn 4 and nearly took him out.
Well, the racing's going to start getting aggressive here. Everybody's fighting for position very early, but also you got to fight your tires. In my opinion, my worry would be what my tire life would be here. You want to stretch out those tires as long as possible, especially if you have to go in for green flag pit stops, because they might not treat you well.
Well, and remember, you got that mandatory fuel-only stop these guys are going to have to make as well. And we saw that come into play big time last time we raced here over who was able to save that extra rubber. Paul Witt loves what he's seeing because he's been able to just break away in the front without even really doing all that much because Anasogak's been so busy on cutting his way through the field. Anasogak up to second, and now within half a second of Paul Witt. And right now, this cluster about 5 or 6 is one of the closer fights we got on the racetrack.
Now, my real question looking at it is, are the guys from 2nd to 5th saving tires? Is Paul Witt using his tires to try to get a big breakaway just in case this race does go green? That's the real question. Or is Paul Witt just really fast?
Well, Witt's been good all season long. I mean, that pace doesn't come from just strategy alone. Sooner or later, you got to actually be quick with the truck, and he has shown a lot of improvement over the last couple of seasons that we broadcasted the series. He's always been one of those guys that can kind of pull a wind out of the hat from seemingly nowhere, but this is really the first time he's actually been in a great position to fight for one of these championships, and he is showing that he is not taking that opportunity for granted.
I mean, you look all season, he's been great. That's obviously why he was leading the points. And the only reason he's really in that fight right now is because Anasogak has been so consistent.
So being quick on the short run might not be too beneficial for him now, as he is losing time back to Justin Anisogak. Anisogak closes to within just 1/10 of him. And you can see catched him by sometimes over, in fact, 0.2 of a second, just the last lap. He is hauling the mail, and he's going to scramble to the inside. And Justin Anisogak, your current points leader, trying to see if he can't extend that, trying to fight for the lead as they are side by side off of turn 4. Witt's got the run up top.
Well, this is going to be a battle, and these are two guys you need to watch. But you also have to look back a little bit. Zane Bailey, running currently in 6th place, is also trying to fight for this championship, but needs these two in front to not finish.
Well, there's always a possibility, especially when the racing gets tight for the top spot like it has been for much of the season so far between these two. I mean, this is a series veteran versus the rookie sensation coming in. It's a tale as old as time, right? Will it be another tale of youth and exuberance, no match for old age and treachery, or will the underdog come out on top this time around? Anisogak is forced to tuck back in line. Paul Witt really forced him to burn up his stuff, trying to get around him, and Witt's been able to secure and just find them. You mentioned Zane Bailey running back in 6th. He's only a 1.5 seconds off of these guys, and again, Bailey's in a good position. He's been very consistent all season, but while consistency is great and it does win championships, it doesn't help you when two guys have been consistently better than you all season.
And that's the main difference between what we have now in NASCAR with the chase format versus what the Winston points format is. If you're in the playoffs when you win a race, but you can beat somebody on 3 tracks, knock them out of the playoffs in the new format. But in the Winston, you have to be consistent every single race you come to the track, and you have to beat everybody consistently.
Man, Cody Witt just got bullied out of the way by John Holiday, and Ryan McRoberts scrambling through Cody Witt with a great over and under. Cuts back down to the inside. Let's take a quick look on this one again. Watch this here as Holiday's going to send it into turn 3 and kind of bounced off the apron a little bit and drove that 39 truck up the racetrack and almost into the outside wall.
That was a phenomenal pass by the 39, going down and using the gradient coming from top to bottom to get back by the 9 truck.
Yeah, it was, and Ryan McRoberts was able to, McRoberts was able to kind of have a similar run going up in turn number 1, and there you can see Mike Allen to the inside of Anthony Lane, going to exchange blows, and just behind them, Williams and Jernigan is Jernigan almost catches the wall. I think McRoberts did catch the wall for a hot minute there, coming off at turn 4. So everywhere you look, you still got battles on the racetrack, even if the front runners are starting to break apart just a little bit.
And that's the best thing. Everybody's just here fighting for position, trying to get themselves a little bit better than where they are, because maybe if they keep jumping positions up, they'll find their way to the front.
Thomas Lane Jr., Dale Rapp, also looking to go at it as they go side by side. Well, they were side by side for a moment at least. Lane able to get a run up in front. Right now, biggest mover of the day is the driver of the number 29. He is up 12, the only driver that is double digits into the positives on positions gained. Really did not have a good qualified ever. Started this race all the way back at, 24th, and now looking like he wants to try to threaten the top 10.
I mean, even during qualifying, if you don't find your line, you could always do it during the race. You have more laps during the race to find a line and stick to it. And I think that's what he's trying now, and it's worked out for him.
Up the road, Thomas Lane Jr., Dale Rapp, Ryan Wayne, all under a blanket as well. And we already talked about these guys once or twice. There goes Rapp as Lane misses the bottom and has to check up to avoid the wall. And Wayne goes evasive. He's going to scramble down low. Anisogak, meanwhile, still not showing any signs on giving up the fight with Paul Witt. He remains right tucked up to the deck lid of the Moser Racing 429.
Well, he's just kind of sitting there and playing the waiting game to figure out what Paul Witt's gonna do, and that's the real thing you gotta do sometimes. Sometimes you gotta play the waiting game, but you're also saving gas while remaining in draft, which could benefit Anna Sogak in the long run.
Well, what little draft you get around a place like this, a lot of this down to horsepower. I guess there is a slight draft. I mean, yeah. No, you know what? Yeah, no, there is. If you get some draft from Dover, you can get some draft from here. I believe it. So Anna Sogak still tucked in line with Paul Witt. And side by side off of 4 for Bawalda and John Holiday. As again, Holiday scrambling. Aaron May trying to use that apron to go defensive this time, but that's only going to put him under fire entering turn 1.
Yeah, now as we get towards, well, we're on lap 25 right now. Now as we get towards the first half of this race, you know, everybody's fighting for position early, so when everything gets spread out, they're going to be by themselves.
Oh my goodness, leaning on the door of the iRacing number 24, and now contact between the two. Holiday chasing May down the racetrack there as almost coming to blows. Middle of the front straightaway. May's able to pull clear that time by, and Holiday going to get to the back bumper. Now, these are drivers that have come to blows once or twice before, so potentially some expression of emotions going on here. Anna Sogak, by the way, putting Paul Witt on blast for the lead. He got around him, but Paul Witt is quickly fighting back to the inside.
Side by side into turn 1. This is great racing right here.
Oh, and the caution is out, and May's been turned. May's around. How much are you willing to bet this was withheld?
Oh, most likely. They were. It didn't seem like they were happy at each other whatsoever.
Goodness, though. Well, an interesting yellow flag. Puts under the caution for the second time tonight. This is why. I don't know. Kind of looked like May was tracking down. Just didn't expect Holiday to be so far up the track. And Coleman'sburg took a hefty whack into the wall. And man, the 3 just getting around that. And McRoberts.
Trying to look if he got loose off the corner here, but it just didn't look like it. It looked like he thought that the 9 was going to go down the track, and he was trying to follow on the door and just guessed wrong.
Right on board here with Anthony Williams, the Goodweiser Motorsports number 3 Chevy Silverado. Oh my goodness. I want to get a look at the helmet cam because based off of that, I don't think he had any idea there was a problem in front of him.
But what a near miss. That was insane. And now we see everybody's pitting, so real question is, I think everybody's taking 4 here. Four tires and a full tank of gas. I don't think anybody's playing the 2-tire strategy yet.
I agree with taking 4, right? If you're going to take a field-only stop, you want to try to save that field-only stop for when you're under green as much as possible, is what I would say, but okay, the entire field just wants to say, you know what, just to spite you, we're going to do the opposite. Only a handful are taking 4. Anna Sogak took 4, Lane took 4, Jung and Gudger are both taking 4, and everyone behind them, but in terms of 20th on up, there's only 2 cars that took 4 tires. Everyone else is on fuel only.
You can guess why Jordan Jung took 4. He spun before, which meant the tire life probably went down. But I guess also these guys could be looking like, you know, the tires may not be wearing too fast, but who knows? Now they're going to get a very, like, nice statistic on their iRacing black box to see how worn their tires are.
Aaron May giving the end of the longest line for the incident. This is going to be the helmet camera with Anthony Williams, who is now up to 13th. And watch this. So he's right in front of Bawalda. And yeah, he had no idea this is happening until this. Oh, boy.
Right behind that truck and just blind until Bawalda pulled off the racetrack. And all you see is a car spinning in front of you. You have maybe point-something seconds to react, and he reacted in enough time to not get involved.
So we are about a fifth of the way through this race, 30 laps in the books and 150 to go. A lot of drivers, again, like you say, opting for fuel only. I mean, to be fair, I guess the fuel only strategy is out of the way now, and you should be able to just take tires on every stop from here to the end and go the distance.
Seems like it.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was also going to point out, Justin Asogak dropped back to 9th now. I don't know if it was a bad pit stop. He missed his pit stall and had to back up, but
he's one of the two in the top 20 that took 4.
Maybe a good call. Maybe a good call for him, because now he's going to have a little bit more grip, but he's just going to be on colder tires.
Green flags up in the air. Race in action resumes. Witt trying to get the drop on the Dudas as he scrambles down to the turn number 1. Jared Duda up high, Jim Duda down low. And so far, Asogak not making much out of the fresh rubber, at least a 1 and 2. Now he's making the look down the back straightaway. He's going to put these guys 3 wide with Gilmore and Wayne. Oh no! And Dale Rapp's going to get sent by Gilmore. And now Allen going around, Amaro going around. And that's where it finally falls apart. He's going to get tagged by Jernigan. Jernigan keeps it out of pit road. And that's another case of one thing leads to the next, leads to the next.
That was a domino effect right there. All you see is one guy get loose, the guy behind him will get loose, and then finally, the guy behind him gets loose and fully goes around.
Oh boy, Justin Asogak not making any friends with Jared Duda as he actually gave him a bumper there coming down into Paul Witt. That's a bold strategy when his dad is running right behind him. I don't think he realized, because he made quick work of Jared Duda into turn 1. But I mean, Jared's been known to not necessarily be the most forgiving of drivers on the racetrack. So I don't know, Asogak might want to watch out for this race. And there we see Josh Jernigan coming down the pit road. Asogak should make quick work of Witt here for the lead.
And the tire strategy is going to work out well for him here. And, you know, he only dropped back to 9th, which was pretty good start off the restart. And now he's back up front.
Meanwhile, Lane, Jung, McRoberts still scrapping out with one another. Just behind them, Nicholas Braz and Joshua Highball running for 19th and 20th. Lane and Holiday are also still on a relatively good run as well. Jung is, I think, a driver that it's almost like a duality, right? He's either great at qualifying and they're not so good in the race, or it's vice versa. And today seems to be on the back foot. He is down 10 spots where he qualified. And this is after a 20-second pit stop under that latest yellow flag. Now, based on the fact that he doesn't have pace, I'm willing to bet he took fuel only, and the extra seconds came from damage repairs.
It definitely could have been. I mean, he did get spun around earlier and got hit a tiny bit, so it could have been from damage repair. He could have taken tires and just, you know, he just can't manage it at this track like the guys up front can.
Further towards the tail, Rincon, Witt, Lane, Braz, 19th through 22nd. Double file as they scramble towards turn 3. This is for 19th through 22nd. Nicholas Braz dropping out of the front runners for a moment there. A lot more separation in this pack, I think, as a result of that caution and the very, very split strategies we're seeing.
Yeah, and if you take a look at Thomas Lane Jr.'s truck, he's got a little bit of damage on the back. Looked like somebody was beating on the back of his bumper earlier in the race.
I mean, Cody Witt was one of those trucks. I think he had kind of about everybody trying to tag the back bumper, and he got punted around once or twice as well. So Cody Witt going to keep his outside momentum going. Nicholas Braz trying to look high as well. Mike Allen and Joshua Highbaugh just in front are also double file as we work to turn 3. And Rincon sits in the mix, and look at him, we got some battles picking up for the top 10 as well. Is that Thomas Lane Jr. now on the move?
He's been running pretty well tonight, and looks like he's just passing cars. I want to know if he took tires, because that could have been very interesting to see if he took tires, and that's why he is moving up the field, or carving up the field like this.
So Swafford, Wayne, and Jung. Oh, catching the wall there for the Worth Ford of the 99. Jordan Jung having a slight kiss with the outside wall. Doesn't look like he's got damage that is impacting him too much. And missing the bottom off of 2 is Noah Swafford.
Here's where it's going to pick up. Everybody's trying to move up to the front and maybe to, you know, you can't really catch Anasodak at this point. He's gone. So the real thing is getting up to that second place spot for position.
Jared Duda and Paul Witt will exchange spots for 2nd and 3rd, and this was the move for the number 2 spot as Jared Duda opened up the door on the inside, and Paul Witt, I think thinking longevity here, decided, yeah, not too keen on fighting that one with you, at least not right now.
I think Witt is starting to notice how, you know, Anasodak took tires and he's just running away with it. So that was a great move by Anasodak to take tires because he's just pulled away from the field. Which, I mean, if we get another pit stop under caution or under green, he may not have to take tires, or he may take tires just to, you know, be faster than the rest of the pack.
And now for 3. Swafford up high, Wayne in the middle, Jung down low. And Swafford is going to be forced to back out here, I would imagine. Oh, maybe not. It's actually Ryan Wayne that backs out from the middle. Jordan Jung's able to clear both of them. And now Thomas Lane Jr. with some fresh Goodyears underneath them. Seeing if that 38 truck can't have another little look going as well. But for now, Swafford and Wayne remain in battle. Wow. Wayne remains. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Looking at the way Jordan Jung is running right now, he may have taken tires because he may have not had a lot of damage repair. He may have just taken full fuel 4 tires, but just had a longer stop than usual to maybe fix up the tiny bits of damage he could have gotten from that slight wreck that he had at the start.
20.72 seconds was the exact time he was in pit road. 55.5 seconds total throughout all of pit lanes. So yeah, there is a possibility. The time frame does match. I don't know, the extra 6 seconds you would normally see is kind of what threw me for a loop. The fact that he didn't seem to have a lot of that pace when he first started going on the restart.
Well, that's always an interesting thing. Drivers may find their line midway through a race. Like, you know, preseason IEL Truck Series at Homestead, I found the low line to be better midway through the race. After running the high line horrifically the first couple laps.
Dale Rapp still looking like he wants to go. He's got the 17 working above him. Dale Rapp for the Silver Fox Racing crew making his way down low, and this is on board with Swafford. Really working that outside lane to his benefit, and Dale Rapp, he's got his work cut out for him if he wants to make that inside lane work when somebody's got that outside just dialed in like that.
Well, Waldo coming in now, looking to pass both cars up here.
And looking like the outside might be fading a little bit there. Noah Swafford losing a lot of time on the entry to 3 there. Does try to cut back down low. Doesn't end up having anything go down that way, though. And a little ways behind them, Jim Kolbensberger, Nicholas Braz, Ryan McRoberts. 15th through 17th, also still side by side, as they have been just about for the entirety of this run. We do have one truck leaving pit road. This is Joshua Jernigan, finally has that damage repaired, and he's making his way back out onto the racetrack in the hopes of potentially picking up some more spots as drivers find themselves retiring from the race.
I mean, now we're getting to a point in the race where rubber is being left on that middle line, where drivers will have to start finding new lines or they'll start losing their trucks, which, you know, the 22 wants to come out here and just pass by everybody who wrecks for the rest of the race, finish, even though he's laps down, just finish the race, get whatever points he can.
Hey, well, he's just lost it again off of 4. Sorry to cut you off. And he is back down to pit road.
I would think that would be cold tires, if I'm not wrong.
Well, he's going to have a black flag for sure for an unsafe pit entry, so safe to say, insult to injury for Joshua Jernigan, and that might be enough to make him call it. And here comes Paul Witt in a pit road, so first round of green flag stops started to kick off as well.
I would bet this is 4 tires and full fuel because, I mean, we saw how Anna Sogak took 4 tires and he's 10 seconds ahead of second place right now. I feel like, you know, these guys need a little bit more push in them, so they got to get new tires because they're wearing.
Well, you have to remember, though, for Anna Sogak, while he's 10 seconds ahead, he still has to take that fuel any stop. He can't make these tires last to the end of the race, or at least the tire changes. So that is 10 seconds that's likely going to be run down before this race is over. So he's trying to take the strategy of getting that big gap early on before you get into a bunch of lap traffic, and then he can try to mitigate that throughout the rest of the race. But it's still a tall order to do.
I feel like the strategy that I would take if I was in his position is wait till everybody pits. If he has enough fuel to make it, wait till everybody pits, put them all a lap down, and then go in and pit, because you have a little bit more of a buffer to get out of the pits. Now, I don't know if he's going to take 2 or 4 tires, but he's definitely going to have to take fuel and tires.
While he's running all by himself, there still has been side-by-side action everywhere you look. Robert Emerald now is in a pit road, as is Jared Duda. Oh, Duda, 4-tire lockup as he gets down to pit road. Here comes Jim Duda, teammate and family member, also down to the lane. So both Dudas are in. And I think we're about to see a mass exodus of lead lap trucks, especially some of the front runners.
Yeah, everybody's going to start coming down now just to keep in close with other trucks so they could, you know, you still could draft here. I don't know if it will gain you any time, but, you know, you still have the draft here. He's you know, Anna Sogak's a single car. Working together may lead you closer, but we will see how that plays out.
You know, you got to be careful in entry. Remember what happened last week at Charlotte, right? There was a couple of crashes from drivers just not making it clear that they were pitting and being run over from behind because they gave no indication of it, or not seeing the indication that other drivers had clearly made when coming down to pit road. So outside of the first few green flag laps, the most likely spot for a caution is around the green flag pit stop run area, and Nashville Superspeedway is not an easy track to have green flag stops on.
Yeah, so, you know, everybody's so split up now in that front pack, but maybe when the guys who are close together, like these few are on the back straightaway right now, if they come into pit all at the same time, we may see some chaos go down.
The chaos is definitely a firm possibility. Dale Rapp is in a pit road this time by John Holiday just behind, thinking like he wants to come in as well. He is going to stay out, though, for one more. We got less than 100 laps to go in the midst of all of this. We are well past the 1/3 mark of this race and approaching the same number of laps that we had since our last cautions we had from the lap 1 incident, or all the way up to our first caution of the night. So we are just about on cue. Here comes Joshua Highbaugh and Anthony Lane. Oh, and I think Lane might have just been caught speeding.
That's always unfortunate. Whenever you get on the pit road, you get caught speeding, you got to hold for that penalty, and your race may be over, and that's the unfortunate.
So Rincon, McRoberts, Gilmore. A bit of a line as well. Here comes Jeff Gilmore down to the lane. Cranking that wheel hard left, and he is down on the brakes. Jeff Gilmore, of course, coming off of a high, becoming the second Canadian driver to take a win to the SRA IEL Truck Series as of last week. The Zerwin Tools number 57 Chevy Silverado took a great win last week. That race was phenomenal, and now that he's in the pit road, I've got to admit, I'm a little bit surprised we're not seeing more decisive moves of drivers coming down to the lane. I thought we'd be seeing a bunch of guys coming down at once, but it's been very much kind of, one at a time, and I think it's a lot of drivers just trying to game the strategy from here to the end of the race. By the way, so far the only driver to take fuel only on this pit stop, John Holiday. Oh, no, sorry, he has not pitted this cycle.
I mean, now you look at the top 5, and you kind of see these may be all guys who took four tires and fuel, like Jordan Jung. He's now up to second in pretty good position if they have to pit again, especially since Anna Sogak put most of these guys one lap down.
Holmansberger and Kevin Roy are both in the pit road this time by. And here comes Bawalda, taking the safe entry, slowing it up big time before he gets to turn 4. So Bawalda in with room to spare, so is Ryan McRoberts. And so far, of all the drivers that have come down to pit road, I have not seen anybody taking fuel only. So far, it has been 4 tires as the call all around. My big question is Anna Sogak taking tires this time?
That would be very interesting, especially since nobody else did. Maybe he takes 2 because he has such a big buffer on second place. He may take 2 just to get a longevity out for the rest of the race. He may be on that strategy where, I'm going to risk it, take tires, take fuel, and just go back out on track and just dominate for the rest of the race.
Possibility. I mean, if he's not struggling with lap traffic, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't wait to go on the fuel-only strategy. He's still got a lot of clean air to work with. He is into the pits now, so let's watch this truck. He's at least taking rights. See Aaron May behind, taking a full set of 4. And it is going to be a 4-tire stop for Anna Sogak, so he is saving his fuel-only stint for at least one more.
I think that's a great call there because you know what? He was fast on 4 brand new tires. He takes another 4 brand new tires, and Thomas Lane's gonna have to pit. Everybody's pitting right now. Aaron May just went around.
Aaron May stopped way down to the inside, so don't expect this to be a yellow flag. Potentially gold tires, potentially just coming out of pit road. We'll get a look at that in a moment. For now, the last of the pit stop runners are in. At this point, drivers are coming in because they have hit the very end of their fuel limitations.
Now, the real question looking up at the front is, did Duda, did Witt, did they all take tires? If they didn't take tires, Anna Sogak is going to run away. And if they did, we're going to have a battle.
Critical point here. This is the battle for the net race lead right now. Jared Duda and Justin Anna Sogak actually exchanging blows. So Jared Duda, who had pitted 10 laps earlier to Anna Sogak, was actually able to run him down and temporarily overtake him for the lead of the race. And And Sogak quickly got back to him and made short work. Mike Campbell, the last driver, we have yet to make his second stop. This is what happened to Aaron May coming out of pit road. And flirted with the grass, and he may have caught it.
That grass is not friendly at all.
No, sir, it is not. Big time not.
Well, the 71 just announced that he's pitting, so Anna Sogak will be back in the race lead.
No surprise here. Campbell pushed that truck as far as it could go. The way it's shaking up right now, Anna Sogak looking relatively set to extend his points lead exiting today as Paul Witt, while yes, he's running third, Anna Sogak way up in front by 3 seconds and is right now building that gap on 13 lap pressure tires to Witt. I think Witt's going to need a caution if he wants to really get himself back into contention here.
Oh, 100%. I mean, a caution's going to change everything, and Anna Sogak's probably in his truck praying that there's no caution. And, you know, he's just hoping. No yellows, just straight forward, no mistakes from here, and he has this race won.
Well, careful now. We're still in the first half, technically. I see you have not fallen victim to the green flag TV commentators, Chris. Yeah, you will. You will. We'll get to that, trust me. It is a weird phenomenon, and no matter who you are, it's happened to Austin Edstrom, it's happened to DJ Clark, it's happened to Derek Watson, it's happened to me more times than I can count. Heck, it's happened to Scott Rankin on Sundays. Once you say that, you have doomed a driver from being able to finish well in this race.
Commentators, Chris, will help the points. You curse
I mean, maybe. Depends who they're trying to help.
You curse Anna Sogak and Witt, and somehow, some way, you have a three-way battle for the points lead going into the final race of the season.
Big fight here, by the way, for the last spots in and around the top 10. Lane, Wayne, Allen, and Gilmore all going at it. Michael Gudger takes to pit road. 57 to the 29 are... Oh, they're making pretty good time as well. And just behind them, we got Highbaugh and Bawaldo.
They're very interesting now after the pit stops to see what everybody does, to see if anybody's really going to try to fight for position or just kind of ride it out till they get a potential caution or the race ends.
Well, you've raced with these guys before. What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, I mean, some guys in this field are very aggressive. They'll try to make passes, which ends up resulting in cautions, or most of the time ends up resulting in cautions. And then there's some guys who will just stay back and sit in the position that they're in and try to plan out something to get them more spots.
The one driver that's looking to be on the backslide and is not going to be helped is actually Jordan Jung. He stopped on lap 64, and right now he is the only driver on this track that is double stinted the tires.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he took tires there. I think he just wanted to get out of pit lane so he didn't lose spots, but yeah, that's going to hurt him in the long run when those tires do expire.
Well, and plus, this way, you know, he's able to get that uncomfortable fuel and only stuff out of the way early. He doesn't have to worry about it late in the game.
But that may work out, you know, if there's a caution and, you know, he just has to go take tires. He doesn't have to take fuel. He can, and then he can get I don't know if it would be a faster stop, but you know what? It may work out well.
past the halfway marker in this one. We are working lap 76, about to be 77. Anna Sogak building up now a 6-second lead over Jared Duda and co. So Anna Sogak takes to the point. And looking like he is going to try to run away with this one. Some drivers battling it out. This is actually a big fight here as well, George, because this is for the lucky dog spot between Noah Swafford, Ryan McRoberts, and John Holloway.
Yeah, that really matters. If you want to get back on the lead lap, you need to beat these guys out for a lap down and, you know, stay there until a caution comes out.
Holiday going to take to the inside of McRoberts. Pick off another spot for 19. Oh, and a hard hit for McRoberts up into the wall. Hefty damage to the left side of the number 23, but looking like he's able to keep it relatively underneath him. We have a Coleman'sberger, Allen, and Williams going at it. We saw Anthony Williams just avoid a crash on the front straightaway between Aaron May and John Holloway earlier this race.
Yeah, and the 11 was also tagged in that wreck. I don't know if you saw it on the top when you were on the replay, but the 11 also got tagged there. So great recovery by the 11 here.
Still up 10 spots for Coleman'sberger. I feel like any race where you're in the green and in double digits, even if you're not in the top 10, that's still a respectable day. You went to work, you went away with a lot more than what you came in with. I mean, I don't think you can really complain about that too much.
Yeah, you just move up the board, the leaderboard as far as you can. And if you're in the green, that's all that's good. That's good.
Giving a bit of a push down the back straightaway that time by Anthony Williams. Maybe trying to get themselves clear of Mike Allen or try to push him up towards Joshua Highball so they can try to duke it out for 12. They are both on fractured tires in the 12th place runner, so I think he's trying to help them out so they can go and fight for spots further up the road.
As you can see in front, there's about maybe 5 or 6 trucks that they can catch up to and pass for potential spots.
Kind of taking a quick look at stint lengths here. Roughly about 25 to 35 laps. So for some drivers like Paul Witt, we can expect to see Paul Witt actually coming down within the next 5 laps or so here. Some of these drivers are in really, really soon. Some of them can go for about another 10 to 15 or so. I mean, look at how different the spread is up and down throughout at least the top 15. I mean, that is a wild spread to have, and frankly, not one that we're used to seeing all that often. Tends to be a lot more uniform most of the time.
Different strategies take different, I guess, pit cycles, which results in either positive or negative results.
Joshua Highball right behind. Trying to make a run on Jordan Jung to the inside at turn 1, the 41 car. Able to get around Jung. Jung quickly trying to go for the crossover. No joy. Paul Witt, we called it in a pit road.
Let's see what the strategy is. Does he take tires or did he just fuel up and go?
It was one of the drivers that already took the fuel-only strategy during the second caution flag of the race. Not expecting this one to be any different. Sure enough, yep, he is out 4 tires and fuel. While Jernigan and the others are in similar tempo throughout. Right behind them, Jim Kohlsberger, Jordan Jung. This is for 12th and 13th. So now we're kind of into the longer stages of this race, right? I mean, we're into the long haul. Another caution is looking unlikely, considering this pit stop run is no doubt going to be even more split up than the last one was. How do you keep your focus as a driver in this instance?
I mean, if you have teammates, talk to your teammates. If you have music on in the background, that's really the only way you can keep your focus in races like this, because sometimes they tend to be boring. You know, you're sitting in your sim rig and you're just driving around mindlessly at points because you're not really racing for anything.
Right on cue, Duda and both Dudas and Bailey come down to pit road as the next group, right as Cody Witt is leaving. So the second round of green flag pit stops and third round of pit stops overall taking place.
He's taking 4 fresh tires. Not time for 2 tire stops just yet.
One of the longest green flag runs we've had realistically all season in terms of lap numbers. There's been a few rough rides, I think, in the middle, but this has been one of the cleaner races that we've seen so far. Only real crashes of the race have come in the first 30 laps. We've been green since then. Right now, only 6 trucks remain on the lead lap, but again, we are in the middle of pit stop cycles, so that number is going to fluctuate massively over the next little while.
Especially once the top 5 goes in. Once they go in, everybody's gonna, or most of the people are gonna get their laps back.
Well, same for Anna Sogak, and Anna Sogak is the one we're really going to be waiting on because he pitted on lap 63 with others, so he's going to be taking this stint long, no doubt. Here comes Dale Rapp and Jeff Gilmore. And John.
And now, my real thing is, what is Jung going to take here? I'm guessing tires. Obviously, I feel like tires. But he's coming in relatively early from what his fuel should be at. So he may be making a strategy call just to come in early to try to get some, laps back. He's already a lap down, but he may have a chance to get maybe 2 back if he's fast enough.
Maybe he's taking the gamble on not needing to come down again for fuel later on. So he thinks he's hit his number, and now he's going to come in now, get the tires on early, and then he could be on fresh rubber for the rest of the race from here to the end.
I think that's a very smart move because once you're filled up on fuel for the rest of the race, you don't have to worry about running out. Tires, you could take 2, and you should be stable for most of the race.
Oh, one truck into the grass. That is Jung, fresh out of pit road on cold tires. We saw Aaron May make this mistake earlier, and, well, a second driver has just fallen victim to it. Has he done the same? No, he lost it even earlier than May. Just too eager on the power.
Just lost it. That's unfortunate too, because he was definitely excited to try to get back up out of the track as Anna Sogak's coming into pit.
And that number 13 truck is in. In he will remain. There it is. Fuel only stops, so he's taking it now, leaving himself room for fresh tires later on in the race in the event of a late race caution. I like the call.
I think that's a very good call. He gets off pit lane faster, and I mean his tires I don't think are that bad, so he may have a chance to stretch them out a little bit more. Oh, Ryan Wayne.
Oh, caution. And is this for Wayne?
From what I saw, Wayne got rear-ended by a green car. I don't know what number.
Oh, that's one of the Dudas. That's Jim Duda. Oh, he was probably coming to pit road, saw Duda coming, and then punted up the track up into the outside wall, and quick trigger the caution on that one. Not sure if that was from Corey Bowden, though, our in-house race control, or from did he get? It almost looked like he got loose actually from that angle.
Maybe he was like coming into pit, and once he saw in the mirror,
that
was coming up, he tried to go up and just lost it.
Yeah, he was coming to pit road and just panicked. Well, that's gonna shake up the race big time, and that will allow for us to take a quick step back. So we will do just that. Right now, only 2 trucks are into pit road. When we return, more racing action on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Zane Bailey, the actual cause for this caution. We're taking a look at that now as Zane Bailey getting into it big time with Mike Campbell. This was why we are under the yellow flag, as Campbell went for a huge spin up the racetrack in turn 1 and up into the outside wall. That is the reason for the caution flag, and well, we are ready to go back to Green Flag Racing as a result after that big mess. And a Sogak leads us to the restart zone, and we're back underway. We'll take another better look at that one when we have an opportunity, but for now, racing action resumes with the Nashville Superspeedway.
What do you think? Is strategy out the window with this late race caution?
Oh, absolutely not. He's still got one green flag pit stop run left. Strategy is still all the rage. Jared Duda working around the high side of Justin Anasogak. Paul Wendt trying to make the run for second as well. Anasogak did not take tires under that caution, remember, and now he's been screwed because of it, because everyone behind him is on fresh rubber. This could be the race killer for Anasogak.
Now Anasogak's a sitting duck. He had the strategy out for the whole race, but the one thing that killed him was the caution.
And that is why most drivers like to get that fuel only stop out of the way early, because then they don't have to worry about it later in the race. And that way, if it does go awry, they have more time to correct it. $50 laps to go. And we'll take one more look at what happened to Mike Campbell here, as Zane Bailey just went down onto the apron and just tracked up into the door of the 71. Campbell spins around up hard into the outside wall.
He almost went up and over. That was a crazy wreck.
I'm glad you noticed it too, right? The back wheels getting up into the air. That's something we've been talking about, like a broken record all season long. The lack of roof flaps that IRC has modeled into these trucks really does not help things when they get turned around backwards.
And coming up on a Superspeedway too. We may see somebody go up and over.
Remember what happened last time we were at Talladega? The closest finish ever recorded on Green Flag TV, combined with the biggest crash ever recorded on Green Flag TV, as well as the most trucks upside down in a single crash on Green Flag TV. So 3 different records being hit back to back to back. It was an interesting last lap for the preseason races, wasn't it?
That's an insane stat that hopefully will never be matched again. Hopefully.
Well, if there's ever a place, it'll be there.
And if there's ever a car, it'll be in the trucks.
Justin Anasogak and Dale Rapp going side by side for 6th place as Rapp picks one off. Aaron May looking to the inside as well. May still 1 lap down. I think a lot of trucks from the lead lap kind of mixed in with a bunch of guys that are laps down as a result of how that caution fell. And you can tell a lot of guys are kind of struggling for it.
If you take a look up in second, Ryan Wayne had an amazing recovery after being wrecked over in that corner, or in the turn 4. He's back up to second now.
Jeff Gilmore, George Rincon, Joshua Highbaugh, all packed up under a blanket. As I tell you what, I mean, these guys have been absolutely on it all night long so far. A lot of great racing, and we're still seeing that developing in this big battle for 12, even though these guys are down a lap.
Trying to get up to the front, fight for that lap back so they don't have to fight for Lucky Dog.
Critically, they're holding up the 3rd place runner because Paul Witt up there, the 429, that's 3rd place. Paul Witt cannot get through this field to get up to fight it out for the top 2, and that has really hurted him big time here. His one upper hand is he's got the leg up on the points on Justin Andasogak and Zane Bailey. So despite not being in the lead or fighting for the lead, he's still coming away with a net positive on the point situation.
Even though he's stuck behind lap traffic, since Andasogak isn't in front of him, he will be in the positive, and you know that's always a good thing.
Ryan Wayne looking to the inside of Jared Duda as Duda still maintaining his strong run for the lead. These guys breaking away by 2.5 seconds now over Paul Witt on down. They already had, well, correction, Ryan Wayne's got 11 and 12 lap fresh tires, then 1st and 3rd respectively. I'm actually surprised based on that Wayne hasn't been able to get around. Oh, of course he wasn't able to get around him. He's got damage. I completely forgot he got rear-ended, and that was right as the caution came out.
He's just trying to stay there at this point. And a nice run by Zane Bailey after getting that EOL to come back up to 5th place.
Yeah, 5th place run so far for Zane Bailey. Not doing a bad job at all, though he is, again, in the middle of a big scrap of traffic back here. And I don't think he's feeling too comfortable in there. I certainly wouldn't be feeling too comfortable, especially since you got guys like Kobelsberger and Swafford, Williams, and more that have already been involved in a couple of incidents tonight.
Yeah, I know Zane just wants to get out of there. He just wants to speed up that truck and just get out as quick as possible, because these are where most of the wrecks form, in these lap traffic bubbles.
Oh, look out! Look out! Swafford down into the infield grass. He's able to get out of it. Near and miss there, though.
Exactly what I was talking about. Most wrecks form in that lap down situation. And, you know, looks like the 17 may have, I don't know, gotten a run.
Took it a little bit too aggressively down low.
Yeah. Luckily, he hit the grass and was able to keep it straight, because usually when you hit the grass, with two tires, while you're speeding that fast, your car tends to start fishtailing.
Meanwhile, Jared Duda and Ryan Wayne got about 0.14 between the two of them. Ryan Wayne thinking about making a move. He's closing. He's within a 10th. Jared Duda up almost into the outside wall. Wayne taking that one down onto the apron. Duda trying to hold him down. Couldn't do it. Up high in one. Wayne down low. But Jared Duda, can he pull clear? It'll be tight down the back straightaway. He might be able to do it, though.
Definitely looks like the damage is affecting the 25 a little bit. He's not able to get a run on the bottom, which usually you would be able to pass relatively easily on the bottom line.
Yeah, usually you'd be able to make that move. Not so much this time around for Ryan Wayne. Jared Duda maintains his drive up high. I think the fact that it kind of clipped off of that apron there last time by in 3 is kind of what killed that run. He had a good run going. The moment he tapped that yellow line, he was forced to back out because his trajectory changed.
I think he'll get another shot to pass. That's my definite up here.
Meantime, looking back to the field, not seeing anything too crazy being done back here. He's got another run. He's making another look. Back to the bottom. Jared Duda up high. Can't get him off of 4. Duda once again pulling clear.
Kind of looking at it, it may be that the middle line has the superiority over the low and high lines, which... Oh, Zane Bailey's going in.
This is an interesting call here. Taking another look at our stint lengths. The longest green flag stint, 36 laps. Okay, so in theory he could make it, but he's going to be cutting it real close on fuel. I don't know if I'd want to take that gamble, to be honest.
I wouldn't. I would wait till it was safe to go in and then decide whether I wanted to pit or not. And, you know, I don't know. It could be a great strategy that ends up well, or it could be a bad strategy that ends up in him running out of gas or having to go in earlier again.
Could be a case of wanting to get off fresh tires and get out of traffic, which I can appreciate the sentiment. He doesn't have a lot of traffic in front of him, so it might work. Meanwhile, the top two still fighting it out big time to try and go for a W. And Ryan Wayne, so far, only one win on his SRA career, and it came for the Joliet 150 at Chicagoland near the start of the month.
I'm wondering here, looking at how Wayne's running the high and low lines and he just can't catch up to Duda, will there be a bump and run involved in the closing laps of this race?
Ooh, bump and running Jared Duda is a choice. If you've seen the SRA mini stock series, you'll know it is a choice. I'm not saying it's a good choice, but it is a choice that people have used.
I mean, if it's clean enough and it works for you, I mean, the only thing he can be mad at is how good that bump and run would be.
You'll remember it though. Remember all the dramas he's had with Aaron Raymond over the preseason and the main season? Where do you think all that started from?
Probably bump and run, yeah.
Yep, one bump and run. It's amazing how quickly things conspire when people remember. And he'll remember. He's made it very clear. He will race you how you race him. If you're going to give him the bumper, you better be prepared to receive it back in tenfold the next corner. Paul Witt's into pit road, as is Jeff Gilmore for their last stops of the night.
Going to be very interesting seeing tire strategy now. Even with the caution, you still have, 30, maybe less than 30 laps now. Yeah, 29 laps to get back up and, have a chance to win a race based on just tire and fuel strategy.
Noah Swafford and Anthony Williams still able to have a good drive going among themselves as Williams hunts down to the low side of the Mobil 1 Chevy Silverado of Swafford. And, oh boy, he clears himself. Swafford immediately with the over-under back down to the inside out of 2. That was textbook crossover right there.
Oh, this is some good racing back here. Front, we just got them following each other right here, side by side. Aaron Raymond potentially having a chance to take it 3 wide if he wants to.
Remember, May is a lap down from those guys. I think that might be what is kind of staying his hand a little bit. I don't think I'd be very happy if I had a guy take me 3 wide, even if he was a quick driver in the early stages of the race. Both Dudas, by the way, are into pit road for their final stops, and here comes Bailey cutting through the traffic as the pit road is very much open for business.
Now here's where the real strategy is. Ryan Wayne stays out, and Duda comes in.
And these are the money stops. These are the guys that are saving that were saving that one set of tires. They're going to be out of tires now. There is Ryan Wayne further in the background. He knows he's at risk of being undercut here. Doesn't want to take the chance, so he is into pit road this time by. And it seems like a lot of guys that are laps down are thinking the same.
Now my wonder is if anybody in this field has kept that or has 2 sets of tires remaining. They're going to take one now and then potentially coming towards the end of the race, take that other set. I know I do. Sometimes I keep that one set just in case for emergency purposes where I need to get a set in to be faster than the rest of the field.
So the pack slowly but surely trickling in, about 3 or 4 at a time for their last stops of the afternoon. And then once these stops are over, it is just going to be launch and see who's there in the next 20 some odd laps. Still waiting on 1, 2, 6, 7. Waiting on 7 to come down pit road. You got the top 4, 9th and 10th, and then 15th that have yet to come down.
Well, here's where everything's going to get interesting. How long does Thomas Lane Jr. want to stay on the racetrack before he does pit?
I'd be pitting sooner rather than later this one. You've gone longer than most other drivers in this field. You're not gaining really anything more by going for this long overcut.
Also looking at how fast some of these guys are on fresh tires, you want to go in as early as possible just to be on the freshest tires possible, because once you get past Ooh, it's going to be hard to come back.
Well, you say that. Remember what happened on our first long green flag run, right? I mean, Duda did pit really early, got out with a lot of fresh tires. It took Anna Sogak, though, just 3 laps to run him back down because he reeled in that gap again on 15-lap pressure tires. So you don't want to come down by too much or you're left vulnerable with no one to defend yourself later on once you're caught.
You need to find a perfect lap situation to come down so you have enough on those new tires to last you till the end of the run that you want to end, or the end of the run that you want to be at. Oh, car spinning in turn 1 into the wall. Anna Sogak's in the wall.
Oh no, Justin Anna Sogak goes around, he's up high and the caution is out. Oh, and he's hit hard by Cody Witt. Cody Witt takes to the infield grass in a vicious lick for the 39, and this has just changed the equation. He's going to be by himself. Cold tires probably catching out the driver, the number 13. No, he got run over by Highball. Did he not take tires on that last caution? He's hard into the wall. And then here comes Cody Witt. Right back here, and Anna Sogak tracking down, and oh my goodness.
Just had nowhere to go.
Not at all, and hopped all 4 wheels off the ground. Went to the outside wall before spinning down to the infield where he came to rest.
I guess that's the announcer's curse that you were talking about coming into play.
What
big time.
did I tell you? I warned you. And right there. Oh my goodness.
Anna Sogak may have been fine after that first hit, but after that second hit, I don't think he's coming back from anything.
I don't think he is either. Oh my goodness. I mean, geez, just punted up into the air, and then watch this here. Look at how much height that 39 truck got off the ground. It's not nothing. Let's ride on board here with Joshua Highbaugh, the driver that did the running over of this. He had to be on fresh tires. I mean, Anna Sogak had to have old tires there, but there's no way.
It seems like Highbaugh expected him to slide up the racetrack up here and decided to try to take a shot at going inside, and just last second sees the 13 go inside and just gets right into his
And then this is Witt, who, wow. I mean, I hate to say it from Cody Witt, there was no attempt to slow down for that. He really did think he was going to get through that. Well, let's see. The Green Flag TV curse has caught... It's caught myself, Nola Rampel. It's caught Clark. It's caught Edstrom. It's caught Watson. It's caught Braun. It's caught Hannigan. And Mr. Irafides. You can be added to the long list of the long list of commentators that has opened their mouth the wrong way and cursed the driver into not even finishing the race. Your first broadcast. You know what? I'm proud of you. That's a... It's not often that happens on a first broadcast. That's a new one.
Like it happens every broadcast that I do, to be totally honest. I'll pick a driver to win. They will not finish that race.
I told you as well. It's like, well, you know what's going to happen now, right? The second you say that, it's that now he's not going to finish. 17 laps to go. And holding of the start. No start. They waved it off. Not sure why, but you see the looking for there. You see the pace car lights. They are still on. So right as it turned off, they waved the start. I'm not sure why we waved the start off. Maybe some drivers weren't fully caught.
Yeah, listening to the radio, it seems like the 17 wasn't caught up to the field, and they were all yelling at him, and he didn't get caught up in time.
Oh, so you know what happened there then? Yeah, see, look, there's 4 trucks he's in front of now. Make that 5. Yeah, he had to be in front of a few trucks, and if he's not in front of them when you take the green flag, they get penalized, even though he had nothing to do with it.
You don't want those penalties. Those are bad penalties. You have to sit in the pits for a minute.
Well,
and,
to be fair, any penalty is a bad penalty. That's why they call it the penalty.
There's only one manageable penalty, and that's the drop to the back penalty, because you don't lose any laps from it.
It's still not a good penalty, though.
It's still not a good penalty, but it's manageable.
Well, I mean, not with you got 16 laps to go.
Well, yeah, but early in the race it's manageable.
Green flag coming back out this time by. And we'll try it again. This time, green flag is in the air. Well, pit stops are completed, and Paul Witt is in a doodah sandwich as he runs it down in the turns 1 and 2. Zane Bailey right behind them, running in 4th. One big title threat is now out of the race. And unless something big really happens to Paul Witt, he should be set to retake the points lead by the end of the night.
Oh, they're wrecking in the back. One car around. Oh, he saved it. Wow.
Is that Campbell? The 71 entry looked like it may have been. And we'll try to get a look back on what happened with Mike Campbell back here. Cross dump had trucks coming up on him. McRoberts went for 3 wide up the middle, turned him, and wow, what a save!
That was a great save. I thought he was going to go around, but he saved it. That's amazing. That's a highlight right there.
Yeah, that was a big one as well. Let's get one more look at this one here, coming off of 4. And geez Louise, look at how far sideways that truck got there. I mean, that is what, 30, 40 degrees sideways on the track? Did a darn good job to wrangle that back underneath him.
It's a great save, and you know that prevented a caution from coming out, and that's shaking up the field again.
Dozen laps on the boards. As Duda, Witt, the other Duda, and Wayne go 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Zane Bailey back in 5th, over a second down, and I think Bailey effectively out of the fight for the win. But Ryan Wayne still in it, and how about this? Side by side with the driver that spun him up into the outside wall in turn 4 earlier this race.
I don't think they would have any hard feelings. I think they would have sorted it out. I don't know. I feel like they both know it was a racing incident.
Probably one of those situations where, you know what, if race control didn't see anything, we didn't see anything. We'll just acknowledge this didn't happen and move on. They're still fighting it out for 3rd as they come off of turn 4. 10 laps to go this time by. And the 25 Atom by Atom Toyota Tundra still not giving up on the Team IEL Low 53.
If he's going to try to use the gradient here to get down to the bottom. That looks like what everybody's doing.
Further down, Gilmore, Rincon, Colemansberger, Bawalda. They've still got some lockstep underneath them, running for 11th and 12th. Jeff Gilmore, last week's winner, down low, trying to make a move, but he's going to be overtaken from the high side by Rincon. Victory lane last week, looking like it won't even be a top 10 this week, but still, I mean, +8 on the day right now for Gilmore. That still is not a bad net gain for such a difficult racetrack like this.
And you know what? It's even he has a couple lap cars in front of him that he could pass. You know, Jordan Jung is a lap down in the top 10, so if he can get up to Jordan Jung, he could take a top 10 home.
Be a pretty big ask. I mean, he is 1.6 up the road, but weirder things have happened. Heck, weirder things have happened in the last week. So, I mean, it's always a possibility. This fight for third still going nowhere. Wynn is only losing time up to Jared Duda. I think this is going to be all the Jared show up front.
Witt seems to be closing on the turns, but then just losing it right out of them. So he's going to have to figure out a line that he can get to Duda's back bumper.
I don't think it's that. I think he's on just older tires. Remember, Jared Duda pitted 4 laps after Paul Witt, and they didn't pit under the caution flag because they didn't have tires left. There was no point to. So I think we're just seeing old tires run their natural course.
That's what happens. I mean, strategies get ruined by cautions, and then you're stuck with a new strategy. How fast can I get my car on old tires?
Once again, Jim Duda under fire. Ryan Way making another set down for the inside of 1. Gunning for third this time. Not quite. Duda able to pull back clear around the outside.
I think he's going to get him into into these turns. Unless that run off the top line is very good, I think he clears him. Ooh, maybe not. Now he cleared him.
Yep.
I think they catch Witt. It's a chance.
They lost a lot of ground, though, going side by side for a couple laps like that. They'd have to reel in about 10th and a quarter every lap now if they wanted to catch up to him. Again, doable, but a tall order. 3 laps to go, 1.6 between Duda and Witt. This is looking to be a non-starter. Oh, trouble, Anthony Lane up high into the outside wall front straightaway. Is this going to be a yellow? He's parked it sideways now. No caution yet. Trying to get going. Now the yellow is forced to come out. And that is into overtime. Race control waited as long as they possibly could, but when he was being unpredictable like that, he had no choice in the matter.
Now my question here is, did he break a toe link that caused him to, not be able to restart it?
Kind of already in progress, but it looks like he got into it with Noah Swafford. And that wheel is turned. It was turned pretty far dead right, it looked like, on the straights almost. We'll back this up by a few seconds to see. So this is coming through turn 2 on... Oh, outside of 4. Okay, so Swafford caught the wall, and Lane jumped up and over him, and... Yeah, see, look at that left front. It is turned. So he's trying to get the truck pinned into the outside wall to avoid from rebounding, and it looks like it just kind of went wrong for him. And now he's just trying to get going, and eventually no choice as Campbell is flying up on him. Oh, that's already in progress. We'll get another look at this one here. And want to get a look in car if I can. Here we go. Oh, that... It looked like his wheel disconnected for a minute there. Which is why the throttle activated, because he's recalibrating his wheel. And then just... That is a weird one.
That's very weird.
Anthony Lane has been given the at-fault for the incident. That's a hard one to call, right? I mean, technically, it wasn't Lane's fault that Swafford hit the wall, but the cause for the caution itself, it wasn't going to be a yellow, but Anthony Lane made his car unpredictable, and, well, that's what forces the yellow out on us tonight.
That's a tough break for Duda, because now we'll see if anybody else can get a better run on him here. With Jordan Jung getting his lap back. That's a lucky dog.
Overtime entertainment 1, we have a possibility of 2, I do believe, this afternoon. So, we get back to the white flag. Who knows what happens? Oh, it's got one more chance, but it's going to take a Hail Mary.
He's got to do some interesting things on older tires, as we've seen. So he's going to have to somehow find a way to get that truck around and just push it to its limits in these last 2 laps.
Back straight away for what could be the last time under the yellow flag, but I won't confirm that because, as George, as you have found out, confirming things is a great way for the opposite to happen.
Yes, indeed.
Jared Duda will hold on to the lead still as they go through 3 and 4. And we look for the restart zone with 2 laps on the boards this afternoon. Pace car is off. Could be the last time we see it out into the Geico restart zone. And it's overtime at the Nashville Superspeedway.
Great jump on the bottom line with Ryan Wayne giving the 53 a push.
Duda pulling clear. Wick couldn't get the jump that he needed off of turn number 2. Ryan Wayne goes defensive, trying to fend off Paul Wayne for the 2nd place. Down to the 3 and 4, looking for the white flag this time by.
He's going to do everything in his power to try to get past the 53, but Duda's just on better tires. He's pulling away.
Could Ryan Wayne have an answer for Jared Duda in 3 and 4? No problems as we approach the white flag. Zane Bailey's up high out of the groove in 2. But Jared Duda drives it in deep into turn numbers 3 and 4. And for the 2nd time in 2025, Jared Duda to victory lane, the SRA IEL Truck Series.
What a finish for 3rd.
Oh, Ed just hanging on against the K&C Sim Sports driver of Kevin Roy. And Jared Duda, his first win since Texas Motor Speedway. Back on February 22nd, where he took that win from pole. Now, 2-time winner in 2025.
He had the tires when it really mattered, and that's what got him here. Great win for Jared Duda.
Solid drive, did everything right today, qualified on the front row and stayed there for much of the race. Did absolutely everything he had to do, and he now burns it down out of Minnesota. And as he angers the grounds crews of the Nashville Superspeedway with his grassy burnout, we'll take a rundown of your official post-race results this afternoon, as it is Jared Duda taking home win number 2 of his 2025 campaign ahead of Ryan Wayne. Paul Wendt will bring it home, just barely clinging on to 3rd. He should easily retake the points lead from Justin Anisogak at the end of the night. Kevin Roy was in 4th, Jim Duda in 5th, Dale Rappins is in 6th, Zane Bailey is 7th, Thomas Lane Jr. 8th, Jordan Jung in 9th, and Mike Campbell rounds out the top 10 as the last truck on the lead lap. From there, George Rincon was in 11th, Jim Colmansberger in 12th, John Holliday in 13th, Gilmore back in 14th, with John Bualda Jr. in 15th, Ryan McRoberts in 16th, Swafford, May, Allen, and Highbaugh will close out the top 20. Moving down to the field, Nicholas Braz in 21st, Anthony Williams in 22nd, Robert Amaral in the 23rd, and Anthony Lane back in 24th. Jernigan did not finish this race. He joins the likes of, well, now former points leader Justin Anasogak, along with Cody Witt, Michael Gudger, Charlie Birch, Labatt Van Leer, and Aaron Raymond. The first driver down and out, as Raymond did not even make it to the end of lap number 1. Well, that is going to be that then for this afternoon. A wild showing that we had this afternoon, and overall a very, very solid drive that I think a lot of folks this afternoon can be quite proud of. And we'll take a rundown now of your official top 3 this afternoon, and we'll look to start it off first and foremost with the driver to St. Michael, who comes home with his second 2025 win. Jared, you did everything you had to do this afternoon. Talk us through what was a great outing for you this afternoon to take you to win number 2.
Yeah, no, I mean, it started off with good strategy there, not taking tires on that first pit stop. I know Justin did, and that kind of set him back towards the end of the race, but we were able to conserve our tires in that first run. You probably saw me laying back a little bit because that was always in the plan. So then we were always set on the rest of the race to take tires every pit stop and keep us in the green for the rest of the laps.
Cautions had a habit of falling a little bit awkwardly when it came to figuring out pit strategies. How were you able to stay on top of that throughout the course of the night?
Yeah, no, you got to play it as it comes. You can't really you can try to guess what's going to happen in the race and pan all your pit stops, but one caution can change the whole round. So it's more or less on the fly, counting how many laps you got left to fuel and trying to space out your pit stops correctly.
And well, we look forward later on in the season. Next week, it's the Lady in Black itself, a track that has claimed many drivers that claim to have a lot of confidence. Where does the Darlington Raceway fall with you?
I mean, I usually run well or like running it. You got to race the track, not people around you, so that's always fun. But I will say, yeah, it has claimed me a few times. I always get the old Darlington stripe on the right side at least a couple times a race. So like I said, I go in there, practice a few laps, and make sure we got enough speed to carry us to the race. I didn't come into Nashville with a ton of confidence, and we ended up being one of the faster cars on the track this week. So anything can happen. We'll see how the setup and track conditions merge together, and hopefully we're quick.
All right, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again. Congratulations on your second win of the season, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to watching the broadcast, and shout out to the SRA guys for putting this on. IEL Truck Series, IEL teammates, Ford Performance. Again, great truck tonight, so can't thank you guys enough.
Jared Duda comes home number 1 this afternoon with his 53 machine out of St. Michael. We'll bring it on down to Ryan Wayne. Found himself in victory lane a couple of weeks ago. Tonight, he is going to be runner-up. Ryan, you had a heck of a fight. You're one of the hard chargers of the day, plus 14. And if this is the pace that you had throughout the course of the race, what the heck happened in qualifying?
Yeah, I was struggling a little bit in qualifying, just trying to get grip on the bottom. I wasn't really too quick in practice either. I was running around 16th or 17th, but as soon as we started getting laps on the track, I got more accustomed to the track and started running up toward the front.
We saw you up at the front a couple of times throughout the course of the race, but I'm not going to lie, when I saw you go backwards into the wall with a hit from Jim Duda, I thought you were just about done, to be completely honest. I mean, how are you able to turn that around?
Yeah, fortunately enough, I'm not really sure what happened. I was calling the pit, and might have been a miscommunication on my part. I was trying to let Jim by, and we made some contact. But fortunately enough, there was only 24 seconds of damage on the rear end of my truck, and it didn't affect me too bad overall.
Well, you're able to get a solid second place out of making the recovery drive. You've already gotten 1 win on the season. Darlington, Talladega, and Phoenix are the last 3 weeks. Do you reckon any one of those you can find yourself back in victory lane?
Let's see. Those 3 races, I think my best chance is probably Darlington. I do like Darlington overall as a racetrack. Phoenix and Talladega, you really never know with those 2 tracks. But if I had to pick between the 3, I would say Darlington.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck before we go back to racing at Darlington. Congratulations on your number 2, and we'll see you in South Carolina.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Ryan Wayne comes home number 2 this afternoon, and that will bring on down the legend himself, Paul Witt, back to the podium. And Paul just missing out on a third-place run, but considering you were on some of the older tires of the top runners, that third place, still a very respectable finish, and it is enough to most likely propel you back into the points lead.
Yeah, that last restart just got me. I had trouble getting it into third gear on that restart. I had a pretty good jump, and then it just for some reason it wouldn't go into third. I finally got it into third, and I would have liked to have been side by side with Ryan, in the middle of 1 and 2, but I'll take a third place. It's a comeback from last week with a 16th place finish. So
it was a very good outing for you overall. Start to finish, you had good luck all throughout the race. Things really did kind of fall your way, especially with the title fight. Justin Anisogak, of course, finding himself DNFing out of this race early on in this one. So you look to the championship as a whole. It's been tight all season long, but with both of you now having races not necessarily go your way, do you reckon that title fight's going down to the last race?
yeah, I think it will. I think it's going to come down to that last race. Unfortunately, I'm going to end up missing Talladega, so that's going to be my dropped race. So hopefully, maybe he can do a bad day, Talladega, just to get caught up in something. Hopefully, maybe.
Well, who knows? It could go either way. He did win the last race at Talladega, but it was only because he was in front of the wreck that took out everybody else. So who knows? Again, it could go really either way, but we look forward in the meantime. Darlington's up next. You're going to need every point you can muster if you're missing Talladega, such a volatile racetrack. What are you going to have to do to pull out the dub at Darlington next week?
Have some good luck and a whole lot of prayers, because I'm not really that great at Darlington, but it's just 1 and 2 I'm okay in. It's just 3 and 4. That's the tricky part at Darlington is getting 3 and 4. 1 and 2 you're right up against the wall, but 3 and 4 you got to let off and get down in there and get back to it, and you can't run the wall in 3 and 4.
Well, we wish you the best of luck when we go racing next week. Congratulations in the meantime on third, and South Carolina just around the corner.
All right. Thanks, Nolan. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Paul Witt comes home third place this afternoon. And, well, George, that's going to take us to the close of the race this afternoon. Overall, a very wild outing for the Nashville Superspeedway. Lots of huge shakeups at the points. And Anisogak finishing all the way back in 26th when Paul Witt finished third. That is critical because, again, you mentioned he's missing Talladega. If this is the type of turnout we have for Talladega and Witt's not there, that 26th place finish tonight could be what keeps Paul Witt in the fight.
Yes, it probably will. And I mean, you kind of look at Zane Bailey. He's kind of sitting there. He probably just moved up, I think, potentially to second place. So it could be a 3-horse battle going into the final race.
It absolutely could be. It's probably going to be. And man, I mean, this race this championship looking to be one of the closest that we've seen in SRA IEL history. Well, coming on up, before we can go back to racing action at Darlington next week, of course, we are going to have the SRA Xfinity Series closing out our week on Sunday with 250 laps around the Urbandale Speedway. OMSRL Cup Series swings out to Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina for round number 10, with only a couple of races left before the chase. The Speed Cup Series takes to the Milwaukee Mile for their second mid-season tournament race. Down for round number 7 of their overall championship. And that, of course, will take us back around to the SRA IEL Truck Series on Saturday nights when they duke it out once again around the track Too Tough to Tame. In the meantime, if you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. As always, my name is Little Rample alongside George Kirafides. What a wild race we had this afternoon, and we'll look to see you all when we go racing at the Lady in Black.